We're gonna catch us a Jakoosk! Yeah!
Join me. Together we can rule the galaxy far from the sun.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
All right. Well, welcome to Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. My name is Todd Hoffman, and this is episode 7D. We are we're going back to Star Wars Resistance. So we left off on Star Wars Resistance about, I would say, episode 49. So you have to kind of go way back, but we started season 2. We are diving into, I believe this is episode 4 in season 2, which is called Hunt on Celsor, or Celsor 3. There we go. Star Wars names are tricky. But yeah, we're going to be looking at episode Hunt on Celsor 3. So anyways, been a very busy week here at the Hoffman household. Jen and I are close to celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary. And so we had a vow renewal this weekend. So a lot of preparation for that. And it went really well because the weather was really nice. And everything turned out great. We had a great time, but there was a lot of prep and a lot of teardown. And so been a very busy weekend. Got to sneak in some, Trent and I saw Shaung-Chi, the Legend of the Ten Rings, and it was fantastic. Both Trent and I really enjoyed this film. Little spoilers, but not too much. I don't want to give away too much, but it was fantastic. I felt like the fight scenes were amazing. The cinematography was great. A lot of cool visual effects in this film. The only complaint I would say, it didn't feel like a Phase 4 film. It felt more like something that we'd see, in the Phase 1, kind of setting up everything. So they mention the blip in the film, but there's not too much other context of what's going on post the blip with Thanos and everything like that. So it was a slight knock, but overall fight scenes were amazing. The humor was on point. I really enjoyed the humor. I thought it flowed really well. It didn't feel forced. It felt very natural to the characters and the interaction, and I really loved the world building that they did in this film. It was awesome. Trent loved it too. There's a lot of cool parts and fights and all that kind of fun stuff. So I would highly recommend go checking it out. So Trent and I were able to sneak that in, which was great over Labor Day weekend. So I hope everyone had a enjoyable weekend as well. But yeah, we're going to get right into our main topic. All right. So just to kind of recap, kind of set everything up. So last time we left, the Resistance discovered this crazy creature on this ice moon. Well, now we find out it's Celsor 3, and so the crew is getting hungry, and Aunt Z wants to leave the Colossus and say, "I'm out," but they have a plan. So the plan is they want to go to the planet again and find this creature, and she's like, "Yeah, we could totally cook this creature." So the pirates are saying, "Okay, we can do that for you." Seems like a pretty reasonable ask, but yeah, so it's pretty interesting that they go down there and they really don't have a plan. The pirates don't have a plan. They just try to shoot this creature, and again, this creature looks like a flying shark mixed with like a stingray, a pretty cool Star Wars creature. I thought it was awesome when they fought him the first time when Yeager was trying to get the team to work better together. And so the training exercise turned into kind of this monster fight. So that was really cool. But now they're going back to essentially kill the creature so they can eat. And it is, let's just say, it doesn't go well for the pirates. So they have this plan, and then, well, not really a plan. They just try to destroy him. And of course, like any creature, it's well armed for its environment. And yeah, It doesn't go well. They go back to Colossus, and the pirates blame Captain Doza, and he's like, now it's on you. And so now the crew is even, all the residents of Colossus is like, yeah, we're out. This is not going to work. We're in dire straits, and we really don't know where to go. So Kaz is like, we got to come up with a plan. We got to figure this out. What can we do differently to take this creature down, help out the Colossus, help out everybody. And it's kind of like, well, what would the creature, what would be different about the creature? And so they finally figure out, well, maybe because they did get some successful hits, it was on the underside of this huge creature. How do we do that? We can't do it flying, so you have to go to the ground. So they come up with this plan and say, all right, let's go down there, do a little, so Tora and Kaz are like, let's do that. They find a experimental cannon that we can use to try to, it's kind of like an E-Web gun, I guess, would be the closest thing, but they have this cannon that's kind of left over, and that's what they're going to use it for, is try to use that cannon on the creature. And so they go down to the planet or the moon, and it is very snowy because of the ice planet, and it's cool. One of the cool little Easter eggs here is that Tora's kind of garb is very Princess Leia-esque from Hoth, which I thought was kind of cool. And then Kaz's coat is very much like the film crew's coat in Empire Strikes Back as well. I believe, was it last year or the year before, Columbia did a new jacket similar to the ones that the film crew used in Empire. I really wanted it, but it was like, I don't know, it was like $400 or something ridiculous. But it was super cool. It's one of the coolest things. I just love the kind of the Norway film jacket they use. It's fantastic. But yeah, I think it was Columbia that put that out. So anyways, kind of a cool little Easter egg there. It's fun that they have that there, which is great. So okay, so they're looking for this creature, or they're trying to get everything set up. They find out that there's a couple of pirates are still down there, and they steal the vehicles, so they can't get out. Also, Tor's dog-like creature is down there as well, and that is also not good because it is it's kind of getting in the way and being a distraction to the plan. And I believe it's Buggles. Am I saying that right? I think it's Buggles. It's kind of a six-legged kind of creature, kind of interesting. I do think, if I remember correctly, in Bad Batch we do see Buggles' species in the episode where Fennec Shan shows up the first time in the marketplace for Omega, and we get to see a Buggle in not Buggle species, not Buggle, but a Buggle species in Bad Batch, which is kind of cool. So a little crossover there, kind of seeing creatures from other shows in Bad Batch, and now Resistance and Bad Batch and stuff like that. So now they have the cannon, but then the battery's gone, and so we have to sacrifice. Well, not really sacrifice. We have to use CB, I believe. The BB-8 droid to help in this situation. And of course, Kaz is like, okay, we got to do this. We got to make this happen. And so he uses CB as a battery and sets up this experimental cannon, and they take the shot. And so they take the shot on the creature. I believe it's called a Jakoosk, and it did the job. Now, they really don't go into the details of how they get this huge creature up to the Colossus. We'll just assume it's tractor beams or some kind of thing. But yes, Kaz and Tora succeed. The Colossus crew is super happy, and all is right in the world. And so it's a fun episode. I love creature episodes. I think they're fun. It's a very cool Star Wars trope, and it was a cool episode. So they get back to the ship. They Aunt Z cooks up the Jakoosk, and Nico does his thing as Nico does is he because they're in space, but they want to kind of see the outside, so he scrapped together and almost kind of like a almost a Star Trek thing where he creates like a virtual deck and they can see outside and it's all awesome, and everyone is happy because they were so used to being in the water. Now that they're in space, they can't see the open sky, and people are getting kind of cabin fever, I think, in the and so the Classics crew is very happy. Another cool little Easter egg is, now of course I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge, but they have the kind of Ronto roast where they have like this engine and it shoots fire and it's rotating meat, like kind of like a gyro meat, kind of rotating. And we see the same kind of open source kind of fire pit, same thing with like an engine. We also saw this somewhat kind of a Bad Batch where in Mos Espa, or was it Mos Eisley that they landed, where Din they have a piece of meat from the Kyrite Dragon, and they have like the pod engine and they're kind of roasting that. So we kind of see that concept as well. We'll hear the same thing in the Classics. We have this kind of jet engine on the Jakoosk or whatever it is, Jakoosk, and they're burning that. And so it's kind of cool. Little synergy between Galaxy's Edge and Resistance and Mandalorian. And so that's super cool. I think that's, those are kind of little details that make it fun. And just those kind of very loose connections like, yeah, this is these things happen and they're in this world. And so it's not even just cartoon, live action, and obviously now in the real world in Galaxy's Edge. So I thought that was really cool. So that's how the episode ends, that Niku wants to eat, and now we have blue skies as kind of like a virtual holodeck for the Classics. Somewhat of a, there's a carryover from the previous episode. So I believe the last episode we covered was Live Fire, which was more of a First Order journey. And so this is kind of continuation of, like I said, the training exercise, getting the team as they have Kaz, introduced to the fighting crew there for the Resistance, the Flying Aces. So it was cool. Again, looking to see where the story goes going into the future. And it was super fun seeing that. So yeah, there you have it. That is Hunt on Celsor 3. So yeah, you can check that out on the old Disney Plus now, and I believe that came out in 2019 already. So yeah, we're a little behind, but that's okay. That's the whole power of Disney Plus. Also, oh my gosh, if you haven't checked out What If, I love me some What If. The last one with Doctor Strange is so fantastic. It is awesome. I just love what they're doing with these kind of split universes, and the dark Doctor Strange is just fantastic. It is very Anakin-esque, meaning that, in this what if scenario, Doctor Strange doesn't lose his hands. He loses his heart because his girlfriend dies in a car wreck, and he wants to save her. And this is whole process of him trying to regain, figure out a way to bring her back and stay alive. And I believe they call it an anchor point in the timeline, and the Ancient One comes back. It's like, you can't do it. So, this is an anchor point. You can't change this moment. This is when you become Doctor Strange. He doesn't want to hear it. And they have this little fight, boom, boom, boom. And then he kind of succeeds in a sense because the Ancient One is also dead in this timeline. But she's kind of force projecting or astral projecting or whatever they do in the MCU. But I really like the parallels of Doctor Strange and what we see with Anakin, because again, you can't control love and you can't control some events. And Doctor Strange is like all consumed by this. And we also see similarities in Shaung-Chi with Shaung-Chi's father. And I really, a lot of things to unpack there. But really, what it gets down to is that, you know, there are things in life that you cannot control, and if you try to change them or you alter them, you know, it changes things. It definitely changes you. And I like that kind of parallelism between all the kind of different franchises. And yeah, it is really cool. And at the end, it doesn't bring closure to Doctor Strange after he gains all this power, which is, I think, a very fitting end to that whole knowledge journey. Like, he had great intentions, but then it turns into something more and he becomes less of himself. Yeah, you know, death is a very hard thing to deal with. And like the fact that he can't get over it and he feels like he has the power. It's the same thing with Anakin and Palpatine doesn't want to give up his power, and Anakin wants to save Padme and all that stuff. I don't know. Totally dig this stuff. But anyways, go check out What If. Also, I forgot to mention at the top of the show, we had an opportunity to hang out with Keith and Kerwin from Father and Son's podcast. Gotta go check them out. Father and Son Galaxy on the Twitter and the Instagram. So check them out. We were the guests this past week. So check out that episode. Trent and I had a wonderful time with them. They've been on our show twice. And so now we were on their show and it was a lot of fun. So go check that out. Talk about all kinds of Star Wars. We do a little ad-libs. Talk about parenting. We definitely talk about Anakin because I bring it up. But yeah, it's just really cool to connect with people that, you know, have the same interests, and they're a father and son and we're a father and son. And it's so cool to kind of have that connection. And, you know, that's the beauty about Star Wars. So we had a great time with them, and you got to go check them out. Father and Son, a Star Wars podcast. That's what they are. Yeah. And Father and Son Galaxy on the Twitter and the Instagram. So go check that out. Or on the YouTubes or wherever you want to consume your products there. But yeah, there you have it. Thanks again, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses for another episode of Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. You can find us, speaking about Instagram and all that stuff, Instagram, Big T, Little T podcast, Twitter, BLILT podcast, and then here on Twitch, twitch.tv, Big T, Little T. So if you want to check us out, please do so. We really appreciate you checking us out and all that kind of fun stuff on the old interwebs. Pretty active on Instagram and Twitter. We don't have a Facebook, but yeah, we love to hear from you and interact. And if you got any cool ideas for upcoming episodes, love to hear them. So you could drop us a line at Big T Little T podcast. Drop us a line or drop us a message or whatever. Big T Little T podcast at gmail.com. Hey, if you rate us on iTunes, 5-star rating, we will definitely we got some stickers and some swag we can throw at you. Yeah, so comment, tweet, rate us on Apple Podcast, and yeah, we'll get that. Or if you want to leave a comment at Big T Little T podcast at gmail.com, we will definitely play that in an upcoming episode, and we'd love to hear from you. So yeah, if you want a sticker, kind of go through those things, and we'll make it happen. So there you have it. Next week we are going to stay in Star Wars Resistance. I think we're going to stay in here, obviously until we complete season 2, and we're very much looking forward to Star Wars Visions, which is coming out in a couple weeks. I believe that's September 22nd. And then I just saw a new trailer today for The Terrifying Tales from Lego. That's also going to be on Disney Plus. That looks fun. Looks for Lego humor is fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to these stories. It looks like Poe is visiting Vader's castle on Mustafar, and it's kind of like a haunted house or something like that. So super cool about that. I'm super stoked for that. It should be fun to check out. And yeah, and then just waiting for them to announce when we're gonna get this Book of Boba Fett date. Can we just get a date? I'm hoping it's November. It's probably gonna be December, but beggars cannot be choosers. I'm also interested if it's gonna be 8 episodes, 10 episodes. I doubt it's going to be 16 episodes, but I'm hoping in the 8 to 12 range would be fantastic. But we shall see. Hopefully it'll happen soon. Yeah, it's been a minute too since because we took a break after we actually had Keith and Kerwin on episode 68, I believe. Or 69. Memory's not good. But also they had the Star Wars Galaxies, or the behind the scenes for Mandalorian 2, the season finale. I was a little so in season 1 they kind of break down each episode, which is great. Get the actors and the directors and all this kind of stuff, and you get a real kind of cool glimpse at each episode. In the gallery one, the first time they released it for season 2, it wasn't that long, and they touch on every one, and they really didn't touch on the finale, and I was really disappointed in that. I'm like, oh, we can get a little bit more about the finale. They heard the cries from the fans, and they did a special one for the finale, and it was really cool. I just enjoyed it. It's always good. I don't know why I'm a sucker for behind the scenes, but I am. I just love them. And I just love the fact that that people still get emotional about when they talk about different things, and even though they're creating something that's a product, they're very centric on the idea of, like, okay, this is something that's also special to me, and that's really cool. I really thought it was cool. I love the Plo Koon thing. So if you're not familiar, Dave Filoni loves himself Plo Koon. In fact, he cosplays Plo Koon before he even was in Lucasfilm. He was a total nerd. Love it. So instead of saying this is Luke Skywalker coming to rescue Grogu, they put Plo Koon in, although Plo Koon technically bit it over Cadmodia or Cad, wherever the Nemonians live. I forget the planet. But they he kind of got he got blown up. He got blown up. And so we did that, and so it was just cool seeing that they went so far as doing concept art for Plo Koon and all this kind of stuff, and yeah, it was fantastic. It was just cool seeing how they did it, how they shot it, using Mark Hamill, using a stunt double, doing the de-aging, a combination of all these things, and yeah, it was just fascinating. I love that stuff. Oh yeah, one other thing. So Dragon Con was this last weekend, I believe, and they have this like huge like Star Wars trivia thing, and you have to take all these quizzes and to get in the entries and all this stuff. So they put online, or somebody put online, of like what the entry level questions were. So I'm like, I'm gonna give it a go. Why not? And it's all multiple choice, which is great. I love multiple choice. Except when they're all close. Then I hate multiple choice. But anyways, there's 50 questions. I took a stab at it. I said, hey, I know Star Wars, right? I guess. I did horrible. It was very disappointing. Like, I felt like I should have done better. I should have known more. Need to get into the Jedi holocrons and go to the library more. But there's just they are pulling stuff out that's just crazy. And I get it. Like, if you want to be like an ultra nerd of like pop culture and Star Wars, you got to know details. Like one of them was like, who's the chef of Jabba or something. I'm like, how am I supposed to know that? I don't know. Anyways, 50 questions. The average is like 20, and I got a score of 23. So I feel like a little bit above average is good, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, and maybe I'll inspire to do a little bit more, but I feel like that's a lot. Some of the questions were really cool, and I was like, oh yeah, I totally know this. And I was like, yeah, I know my stuff. And then the others, I'm like, oof, I don't know. But it's just it's a totally different angle at Star Wars, or a totally different niche in Star Wars, like knowing all those facts. And I read a ton, I consume a lot of Star Wars, but one of the things I have a struggle with is like just the names of everything and the planets, and like I know them and I just can't pronounce them, but if I see them, like, yep, that's them, And sometimes with like species, it's right on with what their species name is, the planet name. And then there's others, something like a Twi'lek. They don't live on whatever Twi'lek land. It's Ryloth. They live on Ryloth. But there's others where the species aligns with their name and the planet align, and it's like super simple. But that's where the trivia comes in. It's like they're gonna throw out a species that that, but they're not gonna. You gotta figure it out. So, anyways, another tangent. Love tangents. Trent's not even here to do it. So I'll do it on myself. There you go. So next week, again, we're going to be back into Star Wars Resistance. We're going to love to finish season 2 before Book of Boba and everything else. So again, hope you enjoyed this episode. Appreciate everyone. Definitely check us out on all the social platforms we just mentioned. And as we end this episode, we always say, truly wonderful the mind of the child is. And may the Force be with you always. Bye. See you later. Bye, 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 bye.
Guess you could say the Jakoosk got Jakooked.
Stop.
Time for some food. I like food. Food.